sweet Christmas, this figure is nice. Hey everyone, how are you all doing? Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Marvel Legends Mindless 1 Build-A-Figure Wave Luke Cage. I am beyond happy to have this figure. I personally don't have as much of an attachment to the classic look for Luke Cage, but I'm so happy to have the classic Luke Cage, and I can't wait for them to give us a classic Iron Fist, because having the Heroes for Hire, having them together like that is going to be mwah. But this is a great figure because this obviously will go so well with, like, just, you know, bringing them in real fast. The classic Captain America, like, look at these two together. If Steve will stand, there we go. Like, look at these two. That's just classic goodness, and I love it so much. And I really hope that we get a more modern Luke Cage at some point from the comics. I think that would be really cool, especially to get a body like that where it's just jeans and a t-shirt and that, instead of them trying to use the TV Luke Cage body. I think that would be really cool if they would just give us a newer updated mold for that. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about this classic Luke Cage. And I know so many people were wanting this for years, and this figure does not disappoint, in my opinion. I think maybe there were a couple things that could have made it a little bit better, but as is, oh, sweet Christmas, as I said at the start. Just so beautiful. Let's take a look at what he comes with, and as you can see on him right now, he has a fist and a grabbing hand, and he comes with alternate sets of that, so that's really cool to have. And the only issues really that I have with the figure are, here, let's move the actual arms out of the way real quick, because if you take a look at his chest and then his head and hands, especially if I hold his hands up like right next to it, they are different sheens. It's very jarring. It's a little unfortunate, but I think that under not super harsh studio lights, like if I maybe turn down this light just like one click, maybe that'll be a little bit better. Maybe. I think it might just be the sheen, honestly, of the plastics, because I think this is a hard, this is a hard plastic. His head's not as hard of a plastic, so that's probably why it is a little bit off. And honestly, the same thing kind of goes for his torso, like, shirt piece, and then his arms, because, well, one, that's another issue, is that you can see his skin through the shirt right there, which is definitely an issue. But when you get him in like a proper pose, you don't really see that, so that's not a big deal. But the yellows are also a little bit off. And now getting the nitpicks out of the way, I love this figure. He is, I think he's almost entirely new sculpt. I don't want to say that absolutely for sure. I think he is, though. Like, obviously, other than his hands, I'm pretty sure that he's 100% new sculpt, because his pirate boots, whatever you want to call them, they are not the same as Captain America. They're not the same as US Agent. They're not the same as any we've had before. His head sculpt is brand new and looks so nice. Let's get a little closer look at that. I do wish we could have gotten maybe an alternate head. You know, that would have been kind of cool. Maybe he had, you know, if he had the, like, an angrier look or something like that, maybe. I don't know. But this is a separate piece. They did not glue this down on mine. I don't know if it's supposed to be glued down, but it's kind of easy to take off if you wanted to. But he'll have a weird sort of divot in his head. The hair looks great. It's got a nice texture to it. If I can get this focused. It's got a nice texture to it. His face print is really solid. It's not super shiny either, which is really good. He's got the gauntlets, you know, and then the chain around his waist, and they are actually the same sheen, which is really cool. They're also the same sheen as his crown, tiara thing, whatever you want to call it, headband. And they look really nice as well. The black pants are a nice matte color. His boots are more so the same color as his actual, this overlay torso piece, which is kind of strange, more so than the arms. But as for his torso, you can kind of see that under there. It looks really good. I want to see some people maybe take some ideas and do some customizing with it, because I think that maybe we could get some really cool use out of this body as well. But this figure he just oozes classic, and he looks great. And I can't wait to, I wish they would give us a proper classic Daredevil instead of the one that we got with the 3-pack, because that one was okay, but I mean, you guys already know my thoughts about that from the Daredevil video. I want just like a classic Heroes shelf in terms of street level, because having like a classic Spider-Man, because like if we bring in classic Spider-Man, we'll go over him a little bit right now as well. Like, these two look great. I love this. This looks super classic. The bright blues, the bright yellows, you know, they just, there's something so nice about having a bunch of classic figures. I don't know what it is. There's just something that really, like, scratches that perfect itch in my brain. You know what I mean? He's pinless. He's got nice colors on him. It's everything that you need out of a Luke Cage. And there's really nothing else that he needs because he's got the alternate hands, which is really nice. I'm glad they didn't just give him fists because he can actually hold stuff or like act like he's lifting stuff up, which is nice because, you know, he's Power Man. So he needs to be able to lift things and punch through stuff. So he needs those sets of hands. I do wish, like I said, we could have gotten maybe a angry head or something, but that might be asking a little too much. And then as for his chain on his waist, this is a pliable piece, which is really cool. So you don't have to worry about that, like getting in the way of articulation. And speaking of articulation, let's go over that. His head is, they actually did go back to the original, you know, standard, what do we even call it? The disc hinge in the neck, which is really cool. So his head can go up that far. It does run into the shirt. Otherwise, it would be able to go up a lot higher. But I think this is pretty fine as is. He can look like he's looking up to the Hulk, which is really cool. He can look down all the way, bury his chin, which is really cool. He's got a little bit of tilt. He's got rotation, of course. His shoulders go out that far, which is really nice. They go all the way around. He's got bicep swivel. Unfortunately, no butterfly joints. I feel like with how pliable this is, it would have been cool to get him some butterfly joints. I feel like that would have been really nice to try and incorporate that, but as is, I think it's fine. Like I said, he's got bicep swivel. He's got double jointed elbows that go up. He might have to screw with it a little bit. Can go up that far, which is really good. He's got the standard hinges for his hands. Unfortunately, though, when it comes to the hinges, they are a little limited because of his, like, the cuffs that he's got on there. So other than that, like, they're, you know, you can get a decent amount out of it. Like, we already tried the fist, so let's do the open palm hand. See, you kind of try to get it a little bit, and it starts to come out. But it's not terrible. You just kind of got to be careful with it. You don't want to turn it too much and then have the hand pop out and you lose it or something. As for his torso, it is the same style as the Doctor Doom figure, which is really cool. So it's just a diaphragm joint. And it's also very similar to the Black Series stuff. So if you have anything like that, you'll know exactly what you're getting out of that. So it can tilt a little bit, rotate, bend a little bit forward, a little bit back. I kind of wish they could have maybe given him a little bit more range out of it because you don't really get too terribly much. But it's not bad by any means. His legs go out that far, which is really cool. You can get him a nice, you know, high kick going on. Can go that far forward and that far back, which is really nice. Thigh swivel. Double jointed knees that go back that far. Actually, I bet you can get more than that. Come on. There we go. Can't really kick his own ass, but can go pretty high. I don't know if he has boot swivel or not. I tried to crank on it a little bit, but I'm scared. I don't want to break it. So I'm not gonna futz around with that. Might watch a couple reviews, you know, other ones, and see if he is supposed to have it and mine's just stuck. But I'd hate to break the figure. And then of course he does have foot articulation, so his boot can go back that far, which is really nice. Can go that far forward, which is also very nice. And of course, standard ankle pivot. And now onto some size comparisons. For a fellow Wavemate comparison, here he is next to the King Daredevil, which looks really nice. Obviously, it's a little jarring to have modern Daredevil next to classic Luke Cage, but I think it's fine. You could have Matt be like, hey, you're wearing your classic outfit. And, you know, Luke would be like, my other stuff was in the wash, you know, something like that. You could do whatever you want with that. And then for another classic yellow-clad hero, we've got Wolverine from the 97 animated wave that just came out as well, which I love that both these waves are hitting right now. So awesome. Love when we get a lot of legends coming out at the same time. It's always very fun. Very overwhelming, but always very fun. We already compared him earlier, but classic-wise, here he's next to the 90s animated Spider-Man with the 3-pack head, and then the Dark Phoenix from the last X-Men wave we had last year, I think? Or no, not last year. Earlier this year, right? Maybe? I think it was earlier this year. I don't know. Everything blends together at this point. But these three look great. Love the classic-ness going on. It's different, you know, very different looks for all three, but they all still feel very classic, very, very clean, very fresh. And then if you want to get some Avengers stuff going on, here he is next to my personal favorite Iron Man figure that I own in the Silver Centurion. This is the Walgreens one, not the one that just came out in the 5-pack. And then the 20th anniversary Captain America. And I think the three of these look great together as well, because Steve might actually be leaning a little bit forward. So let's actually lift him up a little bit. And he's, like, Luke's a little bit taller than Steve, I think. His shoulders are a little bit higher. And then Tony's a little bit taller than both of them. And I think that while I don't particularly think that's not how my brain views Tony, just because I guess of the movies so much that my brain's like, Steve needs to be a little bit taller. But he's in an armored suit, you know? He's supposed to be in an armored suit. It's fine that he's taller. I like it. overall, like I said at the beginning, sweet Christmas. I am so happy to have this figure. And despite its couple of issues that it has, like with the different, you know, the skin tone sheens being a little different, the yellows being a little different, I don't think that that will be an issue whatsoever under, you know, normal lighting, but obviously my harsh studio lights will, you know, wash things out a little bit. But I can't get enough of this. I am really happy to have this figure, and like I said, I cannot wait to get a classic Iron Fist with the big old collar and all that stuff. I would love if that would be in the next wave. I also can't wait to get Blade from this wave. I think he probably will be the only other one that I get from this wave, so as soon as I have that, I will review that, because I am excited for that figure. But so far, this wave's knocking it out of the park. I really like the Daredevil, and I really like this Luke Cage. So yeah, that's going to do it for me, and I will catch you all in the next one. See ya.